What's up, everybody? I'll be going live today with Will Esparza from House of Dragons in Houston. So, let's see if we can bring him on here. How you doing, man? A second. What's up, Frank? Will, how you doing, my man?
Hello, hello. How you guys
They
doing?
brought
How
my
you doing?
swords out for you. I know you said you wanted some Japanese swords. So.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
Man, I got my little samurai guy right here.
yeah. And so, if there's anybody watching this who's not familiar with you, maybe you could introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, what's up, guys? My name is Will Esparza for the House of Dragons. I'm from Houston, Texas. I've been a martial artist my whole entire life since I was 5 years old. I've taught martial arts, trained in different countries, fought different countries, and I've built programs for the last 20 years all around the world. And now we have a dojo here, a location in Houston, Texas. We've been open since 2018, established in this particular location in 2020. And we got a team of fighters, and we represent top fighters from all around the world.
Now, let's kind of talk about your beginning in martial arts, because I know you didn't just open the gym in 2018. So what was it like before then?
Man, well, I started when I was 5, like I said, in Shotokan Karate. And of course, as you can see, Green Ranger helmet, rest in peace. Jason David Frank, I'm wearing the Green Ranger suit, my hoodie, it's one of my favorite hoodies. He inspired me to do martial arts and to continue my path, and started just wanting to be a Power Ranger, man. And did karate, fell in love with martial arts. My parents wanted to put me into martial arts for discipline, focus, community, and teamwork, and to be able to socialize as a kid, and being able to channel my emotions. So that was great. And I was able to just progress. I competed a lot of point karate. I did a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments, wrestling tournaments, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA. I've just done it all. I do weapons. I train weapons, katas. I've trained multiple styles of martial arts. I love martial arts. I'm such a fan of martial arts. All styles, from traditional styles, Wing Chun, karate, capoeira, savate, tang sudo, all the way. And I watch UFC fights all the time. I'm friends with a bunch of UFC fighters. I train with UFC fighters on the weekly, on the daily. I have guys that I'm raising to be in the UFC, and it just martial art world, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. I've been in it for a long time, and it's been a fun time. So.
Now, before you opened the gym, I know that you were traveling a bit. Maybe talk about some of the places you went before you kind of started getting in as a coach and all that.
Oh man, so I've always loved to try and travel and train. I got real interested in doing stuff like that because of like Ryu and Batman, and I was able to martial arts taking me all around the world. I was able to go to Europe and to the Netherlands for Dutch kickboxing, Dutch style. I've been to Greece for Greco-Roman wrestling. I've been to Turkey, been all throughout Southeast Asia, Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, Malaysia, and it's all for martial arts. It's all about martial arts. I love to travel, train different styles with different masters in their relative countries, the countries of origin where they're from. And it's been such a fun time traveling all over the place and getting to meet so many different people and seeing so many different beautiful things and architecture, learning so many different philosophies, and experiencing so many different cultures. It's been so cool because you learn so much about the martial arts through the way of life, the way those people live their life. It's the food that they eat, why they eat that type of food. Like when I brought Rodtang over here to the States for the first time, and he didn't want to eat anything. He didn't like any kind of American food. He thinks American food is like trash diet. He's either waking up every single morning, he's eating rice and chicken, lunch rice and chicken, dinner rice, dessert rice and chicken. So he comes over here and he's eating all these processed foods and he's not liking it. And it's just totally different. You go over to Thailand and you eat KFC, And that's like, oh my gosh, the KFC is amazing over there. It just tastes different because of the GMOs and stuff. And that's the cool thing about martial arts is martial arts is better than everyone's DNA. It's in everyone's culture, and every single country has a style of martial arts, and because they have to defend themselves from warring tribes at some point in time, or warring countries who are coming over, like the Mongols trying to take over, and the China has to learn how to use bows and arrows and spears and swords, and why you use a long sword versus the katana, and just martial arts has so much to do, not just like punching and kicking and beating people up. There's so much history. It's rich history of culture, and that's why I love martial arts, and that's some of the coolest things I've experienced traveling all around the world is learning about that.
Now, maybe let's talk about when you went to Thailand, because this is something that a lot of people want to do. Maybe talk about from a way like a person who's watching this that might want to do it. Maybe talk about how you did it.
Man, going to Thailand for the first time. It was a funny story because I've had this cousin of mine. She's only 2 weeks older than me. So she like took off to the world around 17, 18, something like that. So 17 to 19 years old, she took off and lived in Korea, traveled to Thailand, Malaysia, and she was doing all this stuff. I'm like, hey, how do you afford to do this? Like, you're 2 weeks older than me. Now you got millions of dollars in the bank. What are you doing? She goes, well, I just don't do anything here. I save all my money. She had part-time jobs. She'd save up and buy a plane ticket, and then like it's not that expensive. Once you get over to those countries, you can manage on a good budget. There's a lot of backpacking to do, and she taught me how to just like budget myself, and they'll go out to the movies. They'll be drinking with their friends. They'll go and party. Just if you have a goal, stick to the goal and be dedicated. It's same simple dedication that martial arts like instills in you. So it just applied differently. I just didn't go to movies anymore. I used to go see every movie in theaters, and I just saved up my money. I finally bought my plane ticket. I was tired of hearing people say, "Oh, whatever, Will's not gonna go. He said that 3 years in a row already. Like he's gonna go and travel the world, yada yada yada." So I just saved my money up and I bought a plane ticket. And once I got there, I said, "Man, I'm here. I'm in Thailand. This is the dream for me." I got to go here and I experienced Tiger Muay Thai for the first time. I went over there and I got to Phuket. Did a little tour in Bangkok. Just more touristic stuff, seeing all the kind of shows and the crazy life. And then I went to Phuket, and that's when I got to go train at Tiger Muay Thai before it became real popular. And before they came, they started doing all their documentaries and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool to come back after training there and like where it's not so popular and it's kind of getting popular. And then all of a sudden, everyone wants to go to Tiger Muay Thai from the States and stuff. So that's pretty cool. And everyone thinks it's so hard to do. And it's really not as hard as people think. All you gotta do is like save a few nights out. Don't go out. Cut some weekends out with your friends. What's more important? Is drinking with your friends here on a happy hour, or is it going to go over there and get some good training in Thailand? So all you really need to do is save the money for the plane ride. You can budget over there for a month. You can do $500, $1,000 easy and live decent over there. It's not economy is different as well. Last time I was there was 2019. I was filming a TV show, and we got shut down by COVID. It was basically The Ultimate Fighter, but it was for Muay Thai people. So I had guys from all over the world come in. They lived in the house we had them in, and they were supposed to fight amongst each other, and then fight a Thai guy for the WBC Muay Thai belt. And then we had all that stuff set up and everything. We just got shut down by COVID, so the show is never going to air. It just didn't get finished. It was a big failure, but like being there, even in that time, it got a little bit more expensive. So right now it's a little bit different than, when I went to go travel to Thailand. It's still a little bit more pricey and expensive, but nonetheless, once you get there, it's very, very manageable. There's a lot of great hostels for cheap. There's a lot of great places that people help you out find. And being in a foreign land, not knowing the culture or the language, in the land of smiles in Thailand, it's easy. Of course, there's a bunch of places that you don't want to go and get involved with because they kind of like sometimes poach on foreigners, but just do a little bit of homework and stick to the touristic places, and you pretty much be safe for the people who are not big travelers and want to start getting into it. They'll be afraid. That's what I tell a lot of people, because they're like, oh man, we're going out of America. I don't know the laws. I don't know the rules. I don't know what I can get in trouble for. Well, just the same laws basically apply here. It's the same stuff. So don't be scared just because it's a different country, the language. Just be a tourist and stick to tourist stuff. If book some tours. Don't go on venture by yourself. Me, I always venture by myself. Like I never tour anything. I just buy a bike, a little motorbike, and just take off and figure it out from there. Just like just that's my thing. That's what I do. But if I were to take my wife, we have a very detailed plan, you know, because I don't want her getting into the crazy stuff that I do. If I was to take my parents, if I wanted to, like, you know, my parents, I want to go with you to Thailand next time. Well, if I go to Thailand with my parents, it's going to be like they're staying at the Hilton, you know, they're staying at like the American establishments, and that's totally fine for the people who just want to go on vacation. Like, you want to go honeymoon to Thailand to experience cool stuff, and there's a lot of great American establishments there. There's McDonald's over there. If you like get homesick, like that's like one of the things my wife does. She's so cultured. I'm cultured, and we love traveling. We love different types of food. We always eat different types of food. But right when she got off that plane, she wanted nothing more than McDonald's, and she never eats McDonald's here, you know. But she got to Thailand, and she's like, "Oh man, I'm so hungry," and like, I want just American food. I've been traveling through China and Vietnam and all that stuff, so we got her some McDonald's, and there you can find Starbucks there. You can find anything you want. So go and immerse yourself in the culture wherever you go. It's not that hard to get there. Don't be afraid because the culture barriers and the culture shock. That's the whole reason why you should go there, is to learn about different cultures and different foods and smells and ways of doing things. And it's a lot of fun, especially in Thailand, because they love foreigners. I'm pretty sure that Thailand's main way of economy is through travel and tourism. So they love foreigners to come, and it helps their economy. It keeps the villagers paid and alive. It keeps the fruit sales and the fruit markets going. There's so many fresh markets over there every single night at midnight. It's just fantastic. It's a whole nother world, and I suggest that anyone that is thinking about traveling to Thailand, you got to go take that trip. You got to go take the chance to go quit your job for a year. I did that. I sold everything I did. I was like that stereotypical minimalist. I tried that too a few times, like sold everything. After I came back and made it my first time, man, I got to come back and I got to stay and like train and live here and like be here. And so that's what I did. I sold pretty much everything I had. And then I went back and made my little tour all throughout Southeast Asia, all throughout Europe. And I just like planted in places. I didn't ever give myself I bought one-way tickets everywhere because I didn't want to have a plan to come back. It was just whenever I come back is when I come back. And really, I only came back around Christmas time because it's my mom's favorite holiday. And like her thing is just the family's together. We're a big family and we're a tight family. So I always came back for Christmas, stuck around a month or two just to make a little bit more money. Once I got my little cash up, boom, it took off. And then eventually I bought some real estate. So I was able to bought my first piece of real estate when I was 23. I'm 31 now. And that was a huge buzz. That's like the best move that I could have done in my 20s is use that investment, because sometimes I'll go broke in another country. I'm like, oh my gosh, like how am I supposed to buy food today? And I'm like, oh man, like rent's about to be due. Like, don't I have a management company over here that set me up, like that I hired to manage all my stuff while I'm away. So when I'm away training and I'm doing my Bruce Wayne, my Batman thing, boom, there goes my little like investment and gives me a little bit of money. So if you guys have that opportunity, if you guys are in that position where you make some smarter moves, whether you're young, made a few good investments that can keep you paid without being there, that's like a great way to do something. You know, if you really want to take that chance, take the chance, because the great thing is that if you have a college degree or if you have a job, that college degree will always be for you. That's why you did it. And then there'll always be another position somewhere in another company, you know? It's the fear of not having the comfortability or the stability right now. Because, you know, what happened when the pandemic comes and everyone gets laid off? What happens when 2008 crashes and everyone loses everything? Like, there's no such thing as financial security. So if you're scared of traveling because you don't want to lose your job or you don't want to miss out on school, like it's kind of a dumb reason to not go and explore your life, because school's always going to be there and a job you can always get, you know. But time you will always lose. You'll never gain. So that's what I did in my 20s. I just took off at the age of 21, traveled the world, training martial arts. I was broke a lot of times, and sometimes I had money, sometimes I didn't have money. Sometimes I had it all, and I was like on the high. I was like, man, I got everything. Everything's going 100%, and then boom, plane comes crashing down, burning. I'm back in my mom's house. Man, you know, mom just like, you know, crying and like, oh man, I didn't make it. I'm back here at your house, and I'm like, you're already 25, I should be out. But you know what? Every time I came back, it was just like to rebuild, to go right back out to the world, to go train martial arts again. And then finally, I got my stuff together, and I got my own little place, and then. You know, I became a little civilized through marriage and a little less travel. But the good thing about my wife is that we travel a lot together, too. I took her. She was there when I became crew in Thailand. I was there training for a month. I've been training for months on end, but this one was like I was there for this specific training for it to become a teacher, to become crew. And because I'm already sensei in karate. And at that point, I was third dan. I'm now fourth master. and karate. But at that time, I was third dan black belt and trying to become a teacher in another art. So that's how I got to Thailand. Got my little apartment over there, and got my little bike. I had my little routine with my gym. It was pretty cool. Became crew. Then I was about to have some fights, and during my time there in Thailand, I actually had a little moped accident and messed up my knee, so I couldn't fight, and I didn't get to do that. That was a big setback in my career. I was about to go pro in Thailand. I was like, I was so ready for that. I finally made the team over there to be able to got promoted to sparring, and I finally made the fight team. And the coaches had a fight for me set up. I had 2 weeks, and I was ready to go. And then within that 2 weeks, I had a motorcycle accident, busted my knee out, and so I just got to travel around the rest of Asia during that trip and just do the same thing. So it's been pretty cool. It's been a while because you go and travel and then you meet people, and those people lead you to these people, and those people lead you to that people, and then you just kind of like bounce around and just go on this wild adventure. Or you can go and if you want to feel safer about it, feel good about it, or you have a certain amount of time, you want to see these many things, and you're not so much of a traveler, but you have the opportunity to travel. It's a great way to the Lonely Planet book is a great way to go and something you can buy at the bookstore. I have a little collection of Lonely Planet books. All the countries I've been to like 30 countries now, 31. I'm like, oh man, I just turned 31, so like this year I want to take another country down, to like 1 year for every year I'm alive, kind of a thing. So yeah, but traveling is so awesome, man, and you learn so much about yourself. You learn so much about culture. And for me, in martial arts, it's all about martial arts, training and traveling. So, yeah, everyone who wants to travel, man, go ahead and do it. All you gotta do is do it.
Let's talk about the first time. Like, did you already set up a place to stay the first time you went to
Nope,
Thailand, or how did that work?
nothing. I knew I needed to get there. I just knew I needed to get there, and I'll figure out once I did get there. And I didn't know what Tiger Muay Thai was at the time. It was a gym I kind of stumbled upon, and it happened to be that one. I was just there. I got my plane ticket, and I went with some friends. But it was they jumped on last minute. They called me one day. Hey man, what are you doing? Oh, I just booked my trip to Thailand. What? You did it? You finally did it? Out of all of the years you've been talking about going, you finally booked it? I'm like, yeah, man. So I booked it. Who's going with you? I'm going by myself. You're crazy. No way. Okay, well I got time. Like, let me go on this. How long are you going for? So my friend jumped on it. Then I had my other friend. She called me and she had the same reaction. She jumped on it. She's like, man, I don't care if they fire me. I don't care if they quit. Like, I'm going. You're going. I'm going. I want to go there so bad. Blah blah blah. She's real adventurous. And then she brought another one of our friends on too. So it became like me and my guy friend, and my two girlfriends. We all went as a team, and we just had like I never laughed so much in my life. That trip was just so phenomenal. But we didn't do so much training. They went for the training for me, and like because I was like, guys, this is my whole thing. Like if I don't come to Thailand and don't train, like then I can't go with you guys. If you guys can't stay on this, then don't be here. This is what the trip's for. So I got my training, but it wasn't like hardcore training. It was just like I went to Thailand. I did like a few courses. I got some sparring rounds in. Like I did the whole Thailand thing. But that's what like a traveler would say. That's what like a casual martial artist would say. They just like thing that was supposed to be in that country, right? Well, I'm a real fighter, real martial artist. So after that trip, it was kind of vacation and like kind of like getting your feet wet to explore and stuff. And we knew nothing about anything. We didn't have internet service. We didn't have a phone. We just like hopped on bikes and we just got them from place to place. So I got to used to traveling. I told myself if I could do it once, I could do it a million times, which I did. So after that first time, I just like all my focus was I'm gonna save up enough money just to get back there. And then every single time I've gone, it's been like a month and a half to 2 months each time I go, and it's been nonstop training. I've been to Chiang Mai, Bangkok, Phuket, Kai, Chiang Rai, like everywhere, all the provinces, the rice paddies to the beaches to the mountains and to the city. It's amazing. It's beautiful. So that's how it kind of worked out for me the first time. Just kind of vacation, last minute thing. I just need to get there just to prove to myself I can make it. And I chose like the furthest place across the world, right? I could have gone to like Costa Rica or South America or Canada or someplace, but I've been to Mexico before. I'm Mexican. My parents take me there sometimes, but when I was a kid. But I wanted to go as far as I could and go to like where I wanted to go for the specific training, and that was far, and it was a big culture shock. And I want to kind of challenge myself with something I've never done before, and that's what inspired me and got me to go on the first trip.
What do you think about how some of these Thai camps have kind of blown up in the social media era?
Well, I'm really, really happy about it because the Thais don't get the credit that they deserve, I believe, or not the credit, the like the shine that they should. Because like everyone who's in the fight game knows the Muay Thai is where it's at when it comes to striking. Um, my guys, to get if you're part of my fight team and you want to go and try out MMA and you've never been in a Muay Thai fight before, then you're not allowed to get into the cage until you go and do a Muay Thai fight. Win, lose, or draw, we'll see how you are because you can't run away from the strikes in Muay Thai. In MMA, like Khabib's barely ever hit, right? But he just like deflects, takes him down, and just smashes him. So if you fight Khabib, you're not really gonna get hurt. You're just gonna get manhandled, right? But if you fight Tony Ferguson, you're gonna get cut up even if you win, right? So that's kind of the same thing in Muay Thai. Like you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get hit, even if you beat them. Like your shin to shin collision, like the amount of kicks, like you're gonna be throwing the elbows and the crashing. And it's different because when you're fighting in real life in real time, and you're not just sparring, you're not just taking it easy with each other, and like you kick for real, you kick hard, and that dude checks, and you have to be poker face and trained to like versus like oh that hurts because then you're gonna smell blood. So in Thailand, when you start sparring with high level guys, they're not going hard, and you think you want to go hard to like keep up, but then they're like looking at you like you're such an amateur because you don't know how to control yourself, and you don't know how to tag your you don't know how to touch your targets, and that's more important than going hard. Because they still go fast and they still go real time. They're just not killing you. And then sometimes they like, okay, yeah, we've had enough respect for each other. Let's turn it up. And then they sometimes like a light sparring can turn into like a hard sparring with like shin, like no shins, like super leg. That dude's crazy. He was over here and training with us and teaching seminars at our gym. And I was like hanging out with him and just talking to him about methods. The way like he likes to go hard. He does like a lot of hard sparring. Like he has like people hit him hard. He hits his coaches hard and his pad holders hard. And then you have someone like Sanchai from the same team and people who work with him. And he just like all light and playful and like just touch, touch, touch. And then you have Rodtang, and he like does sparring and stuff like that. But he's really just like mostly hitting pads and cardio. And his mind is just like his philosophy in fighting is different. He's just like he don't care if he gets hit. So and he's already had so much fights, so many fights as a kid growing up, 300 plus fights like total in his life, probably 500 fights that are like even including unsanctioned fights. Um, and yeah, he just like the mindset is different, and like that's what I'm trying to do in America is bring. Like, that's why I brought Rodtang here, and like to spread Muay Thai and to spread the philosophy and the culture of the Thai spirit, warrior spirit, and that's why we brought Super Lake over here, Sancha over here, like the top of the top in the Muay Thai game, the biggest face of the Muay Thai game, because I spent so much time in Thailand. I love the culture. They've always been so good for me, like good to me as a country and as a nation. I've been able to work with the Mr. Pickout, the director of Ombak Thai Warrior. That's who was working with us on our project when we were filming over there in Thailand. He was just so nice, and he started geeking out when we started talking about film. Like he was like whatever about Thai boxing, but then when we started talking about film, he started geeking out, and we had to like Google Translate, and it was just cool just to talk with someone who like I got inspired by Muay Thai in America because of the movie Ombak. I think that's like a lot of people's inspiration too, in America at least, and that's how I learned about it and got it really involved with the culture because Muay Thai in my gym when I was growing up, um, we had Muay Thai fighters, and it wasn't very popular at all. Like, it was always like actually kind of shunned upon, even in Thailand too. Like the guys who are Thai fighters, they're national heroes, but then again, they're people who didn't really have anything else to do in society. They're kind of looked upon, but like the higher class people, I guess you could say, like it's for like it's either gonna be like an athlete or you're just like a low life person who have nothing else to do, and that's why you're fighting, kind of a thing. And I don't want that kind of image over here because it's not just like that. Especially like the people who embrace the Thai culture in America, like they love the music, to fight with the music, and they want to come out with the pajats and the armbands, and they want to like do the whole ceremonial dance, and they're really bringing especially in Texas, we're really growing in Texas for the Muay Thai culture, and that's something I'm very very proud to like talk about, speak about. The Texas Muay Thai Championships is a fight that one of our guys was supposed to be fighting last night, but their opponent missed weight. They're very unprofessional, and they called us out at 122. They came in and they busted weight, and they couldn't make it. And those guys are trying to fight up against us. So we just scratched the match. They couldn't make the weight. It's professional. And then that same night, uh, you know, so many people in the one championship didn't make weight. They're out of there. I don't know how many fights people didn't make weight in the UFC. They're out of there. So that's part of what it is, you know. And the cool thing about Thailand is they take hydration into play. They're very, very big into the hydration part of cutting weight. So if you cut the water weight over there, but you're not hydrated on the way you're supposed to be, then they'll scratch the fight because of that as well. That's something that the UFC I would think would be a good safety measure and a good way to regulate all these people cutting weights and manipulating weight classes and trying to get easier fights at different weights and whatnot. And it keeps everything kind of pure over there in Thailand or in the Asia because everyone's fighting pretty much their own size and their own weights. They're like cutting a few pounds, not like 30 pounds from 200 to 170 or something like that. And I've done that before too. I've cut down from like 215 to 170 in a really, really short amount of time, and it's just horrible. It's just horrible. It's not healthy. It's not healthy to do it all the time. And that's what people are talking about Paddy Pimblett all the time. He gets so blown up, and then he cuts all the way down to 155, and it's not like sustainable. It's not really healthy. And that's what's different about Muay Thai. Everyone just kind of fights the way you're like, hey, you're this weight. You can and you can cut a little bit, or or fight up a little bit. You know what I mean? They all fight at pretty much their own weight, and that's another kind of type of. It's different. It's different. Just the mindset of Thai boxing. It's just a little different, you know.
Now, tell me about how you got involved with some of the fighters like Rodtang and some of these guys that were an agent for.
Well, like I said, I've been part of the scene for a while, and it's just like people meet different people, and like I said, it just leads you to other places and other connections. And got involved with Rodtang, and I was like, hey man, I'm just a big fan, and I like to represent you here in America and bring you to the States. Have you ever been here before? And we were just talking back and forth, and he's never been, and he was really interested, and he saw our profile, saw what we're doing, what we're about, and he liked what the House of Dragons represents. So we had like a little tour for him. We brought him over here from Thailand for the first time to spread Muay Thai and to spread the art. And it was really cool just to get to work with him, to see how he trains and to hear his philosophies, to stay up all night talking about his history and the rise to the Iron Man. And it was really, really awesome. And he had a really great showing here in America, and he blew up like even more so over here. Now he's coming back. He's coming back later this month. Actually, he's doing another seminar tour on the east side, on the East Coast. So like New Jersey area, like all that side over there on the East Coast. We went there last time as well. He's doing a lot of the same gyms that we went to last time. He's coming back for another tour. So the good thing, he just won his fight this past Friday. Did you watch that fight?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, off the record, I feel like he's overall, in all combat sports, he's one of the top guys for entertainment, without question.
Yeah.
If he was in the UFC or something, I mean, it's different just because of MMA, but like if they had stand-up fights in the UFC, I think he'd be hugely popular.
Oh man, that's just something we were talking about, and there's been talks of him coming to the UFC as well, but just negotiations and contracts and fights and legacies and whatnot. So that's a whole nother behind the scenes topic. But yeah, like UFC, I believe that a lot of UFC strikers, if they just went to ONE FC for just to do their Muay Thai or kickboxing bouts, they get smashed. But I believe that a lot of ONE FC were to transfer to the UFC and do full MMA, they get just like they wouldn't be so successful. The MMA game here is now it's not like where it's anywhere else. Even in Brazil and those guys who are real hard in MMA in different countries, they all come to America. So we just have the best of the best here, and that's why MMA is so strong in the States versus, it's just a little not as strong as over there.
Yeah. Now, when he came for the seminar, does he like stay with you, or how did it work when you?
Yeah, we just like we're just like basically rock stars on tour. Just hopping from hotel to hotel, city to city. Flew in here, drove in there. It was pretty crazy, man. And it was like it was kind of a rush thing too, because he had to go back to his fight and train back to Thailand. So we were thinking, like, well, how about we just wait till after his fight? But I was like, nah, it'd be better to represent him here in the States and give him like that people like got to see him and touch him and be around him So when he goes and he has these fights, like right now he's like blowing up. He's like gained I don't know how many thousands of followers since we brought him here, and he's all
Mhm.
over Sundance podcast and talking. And all the UFC guys are talking about the Rodtang fight coming up on Friday versus the Lazari. What's his name? Who he fought? The Italian. Forget,
Mhm.
but they're all talking about how underdog Rodtang might get upset, or he might get upset in the fight. You know, the other guy might come and take it. But that's what I'm saying. Like that's he wasn't so much talked about until he got to the States, and that was our whole strategy. Like he got to the States, he got to like let this market, American market, like, hey guys, I'm here. I'm like he's the face of Muay Thai, and that's what we're trying to do: spread one championship, spread Muay Thai and the culture. We were very successful with it, and there's all kinds of articles over there in Thailand. They're sending me, and that was pretty cool to see. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and it was a memory I won't ever forget. Experience I won't forget. Taking this dude for the first time on tour. Actually, look at this. This is one of the Polaroid pictures. I don't know if you can see it. That's me,
Yeah.
Rodtang, the gym owner, another friend is also like his translator manager. And then these gloves over here, these gloves right here, signed by him. Those are his gloves. And then remember these shorts?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, where he was wearing the Super Saiyan hair. He's like yellow
Yeah.
hair. He like smashed Jacob Smith. Yeah, that's he did. He actually gave those when he came over here. He dedicated and gave those shorts to my parents. I have them here in my office. I'm about to frame them, but he gave those shorts to my parents. I'm taking this. I'm the one who brought him over here, so I'm taking the shorts. But he gave it to my mom and dad as like appreciation and thank you for welcoming me for to our family and to Texas. You know.
Now, what did they think of like being in Houston?
It was such a culture shock for him. You know, I told him that we should plan out. We did like back to back to back seminars, back to back to back cities. So he comes here, we do a seminar, and then we go to New York, and then we go to New Jersey. And it's like boom, boom, boom. There's no rest, and like he's never been across the seas before. Like the furthest he's been to really is Singapore. So he didn't understand like the easy part was teaching seminars and doing the martial arts. You know, the hard part was getting around the airports and the travel and the time differences and stuff. So he got here and he was like, oh man, all like tired and whatnot. And then like the food wasn't the same, and all he wanted to do is eat Thai food. And like Thai food places open like 11 over here earliest, you know. So
Mhm.
he's used to Thai like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then he's a hungry dude. And like he's used to doing, he wakes up like around 5:45, 6 a.m. just to eat, so your fuels up for the whole day. Right when he's finished with that, his first little meal, he goes on a 6 mile run, and then he goes into his training for like another 3 to 4 hours, and that's the beginning of the day. Then he has a little break, and then he goes into the ending part of the day. So he's got to eat like around 1 or 2 o'clock, so he doesn't feel all bad for training around 4 o'clock, and then he's got to eat his final meal at the end. So that his whole like being a champion, being where he's at, and his strict levels of focus and training and diet, it was like really throwing him off being here in America because he's just not the same. His sleep was off. The schedule was crazy. Everything was wild, and all the fans all over the place, and the airports, and the people like swarming the gyms and whatnot. And it's been crazy. So it was an experience for him for sure. It was an experience, and he was ready. He was ready to go back home after everything. It was just like tiring. He was like, man, I want to go back to Thai food. I'm tired. I'm tired of burgers. I'm tired of like having this, American food, freaking just trash. He wanted to go back and then just get back to his training, get back to his fight. We even had like a big party for him too. We took him out to the club. We had like a big like party bus, and he was out there in the club. He's like, oh, Rodtang's in the house and blah blah blah. And he was like, yeah, I need to go home and sleep because I need to go training, tomorrow. you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like he's so focused, and that's why he is who he is, and that's what's so cool about watching his career, being part of his career, is to see that dedication as a martial artist, not just a fighter, but as a martial artist, And then at nighttime, we just like, man, I don't want to see anybody. Like, I just get our food and go to the hotel room. I don't want to like talk to anybody. I don't want to take pictures with anybody. Blah blah blah. I just want to go and rest. So we go over there, and he has a little iPad after we listen to Ed Sheeran. He loves Ed Sheeran and Bruno Mars and Adele, and such a savage, and he's like such a softie at the same time. He's so funny. But he's such an amazing person. He's so cool. And the cool thing about it is just to see what he does at night, to see who he is really. And, he's just watching his fights, studying his fights, going to sleep, watching his own fights. You know what I mean? Like just studying himself. And one thing he told me was that he studies himself not only how to, like, why he lost, but how he won. Like over here, I don't know about what y'all's philosophy is, but like in film, football, and traditional sports, you're always watching your mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Ever heard of the philosophy of watching for all your good wins and why you did so well? I mean, have you ever heard of that philosophy before?
Well, I mean, in football, like, for example, my dad went to University of Alabama. I probably watched Alabama play every game since I was 7. Yeah. And, any D1 program, pretty much everything they do is on film. All practice, all game, every rep. So I think they get a lot of opportunities to watch themselves. I don't think a lot of MMA guys do that necessarily. But I did see a guy talking about it recently, a football player. He played at Oregon, and he was saying he films all his MMA training the same way, because he's saying when I was at Oregon, everything we did was on film. So I film all my training, So I thought that was interesting that he was talking. I actually saw that like just a couple of days ago.
Wow.
So it's interesting you brought that up because it's probably not something that I think a lot of guys do, but maybe something people could do.
That's what I took from that. Like, not because I watch fights all the time. Like when I come home, it never shuts off for me. I've made what my life's passion is into my business. So like I wake up, I go to sleep doing like martial arts, right? So if I'm not physically doing it, I'm studying it. So I'm watching UFC fights, getting my guys ready and whatnot. And I'm always studying my guys' fights. I'm up all night watching everything, replaying everything a million times, seeing what they did, the footwork, the positions, the head movement, the hands up, the technique. But I'm always watching it. I'm critiquing them always. I'm not always like, oh, you did good there, you did good there, until like Rodtang really kind of like talked about that. We kind of went through that in that process of like viewing and studying fights. And that's like probably the coolest takeaway for me was the strategy in the mind versus any technique you could have taught physically, because you can learn all the same techniques watching any kind of YouTube video or going train in any other gym. Like you can go to Thailand, train with anybody, right? But not all Thai fighters in Thailand are Rodtang. So what makes Rodtang Rodtang? And it's his process philosophy of studying himself and understanding why he's winning and why he's losing. And we only focus on the negative. Like, and that's another thing here in the States, like the mindset, the culture, talking about the traveling and whatnot. They're called the land of smiles, and they're like a third world country, like super broke and stuff. And if you were to wire to those countries, your bank would be like, don't wire. They're scamming you, They're like broke country, like don't do that. But they're all so happy because they have like a lot of fulfillment over there and what they do and what their purpose is. And that's what we lack over here in the States. And that's what's cool about seeing Rodtang is that his life is actually really started right now. He like first came to the league and won around 20 years old. He just turned 25 right when he got back from Thailand, or he got back to Thailand from the States when I brought him. He had his 25th birthday over there, right? Like right when he got back, and like he's never been to amusement park. He's never been to like Disney World. He's never been to. I had him in the I forgot the hotel, the Texas Lazy Pool River. It's the one that they built for the Super Bowl. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but that's what I have here. And like he never been in a lazy river pool, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck? Come on, bro. He's like, man, like at 9 years old, I was fighting for food, dude. Like I didn't like my first fight. The way I got to fighting is because he fought for food. He's hungry that night, and this guy like, are you hungry, boy? Okay, fight this boy, and I'll give you food. All right, well. I was like, what happened? Like, win or lose? Meaning, what did you win or did you lose? I asked him, well, what happened? He was, well, I ate. That's what happened. So in Thailand, also, that's another thing that I got from working with all these Thai guys living there, is that, like, Floyd Mayweather. Oh, man, like, I'm 51-0, like, undefeated, 52-0, undefeated fighter, blah, blah, blah. Rodtang has over 300-something fights, and that's like it's not rare in Thailand to have that many fights, and in Thailand they're not worried about record. They're worried about how many times have you stepped in the ring for war. How many times have you made that walk? Not how many times have you won or lost. That's like irrelevant. Of course, we want to win, but it's not about that. It's about being a warrior. You know what I mean? And that's why he's so savage. He's just like win, lose, or draw. Like I'm dying or you're dying, and that's why fighters fold because they're not used to that type of mindset against this guy. Against fighters. They just come in trying to play a game. They're trying to point it out. They're trying to like get that knockout, get that highlight reel. But I think that's what makes Rodtang is that his highlight reel is his whole fight because of his pursuit in his fight, his strategy of attack. And like a lot of people would say, Michael Chandler is kind of similar in that fashion, for the UFC.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the scene in Houston now that you're back into Houston, not in Thailand. Tell me a little bit about the scene there.
Oh, man, like Houston is a hub like for a bunch of MMA fighters and UFC fighters. We have a lot of great talent out here. We have Adrian Giannis out here. We have Matt Schnell. We have the King of Knockouts, Derek Lewis. Kevin Holland is out here. He's getting ready for Stephen Warner Boy Thompson, which I'm a huge fan of. That's going to be a great fight. That's going to be awesome. We have Ricky Tricios. He's a good friend of mine. He's one of the like affiliate Dragon. He's always over here training with us and working with us. He's a tough winner for Volk versus Ortega season. He won that Ultimate Fighter. And Danny Panetta's out here at a 4 ounce. Like shout out, he's like I think he is the first true Houstonian to make it to the UFC all the way. Of course, we have guys who have come into Houston and then made it to the UFC, but he's the first one who was like raised and like produced from Houston to make it to the league. Danny Panetta. So shout out to him. He's one of the big OGs. Yeah, we got all kinds of different fighters out here. We got Mike the Truth Jackson out here too, the guy who fought CM Punk. He's out here as well. You know what I mean? So we have all kinds of different well-named fighters. And Alex Morano, the Great White, I train with him a lot. I've sparred with him tons of times. He's a beast. His whole team is like just so cool. The Woodlands Gracie Baja team, they're awesome. We have Opie Longo out here, who's great in jiu-jitsu with the Gracie Baja West Chase team. We have the Gracie Baja Champions team. We have like a lot of great big gyms. War is a good group of guys. War is awesome. They have a big stable of UFC fighters that are up and coming, and a few that might make the UFC league like this year. Main Street, which is Crew Bob and Derek Lewis, where he used to train out of, where Kevin Holland is currently training out of right now. Terrence McKinney was there the other day as well. We got pictures and we were training together and stuff. Like, they're all just such a great group of guys. Like, all the local guys, even the pros who are coming up, the amateurs who are about to be pros who are coming up. Like, there's a lot of great fighters on the scene right now, a lot of exciting guys right now. And I'm just so lucky to be able to be part of that team. Oh, I can't forget about Heritage Muay Thai. Like, I really look up to Coach Corley, Mike Corley. He's a real big inspiration for me. He's leading also the U.S. team in the Muay Thai right now, like president of like the World Games for that. Becker Irwin's out of here. Lauren Murphy, who fought Valentina Shevchenko, I was training with her the other day with Yves Edwards. He's an OG, a good friend of Joe Rogan as well. He's been on the Joe Rogan show many times. I'm sure you know Yves Edwards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm actually working with him and his team. I've been working with them lately. That's where like Adrian Giannis shows up. We got Rafion he's the Bellator champ right now. He's out there. So we have a lot of good talent in Houston and a lot of good exciting fighters coming up. And I'm just like blessed to be able to train with those guys. They're all animals.
Now tell me about Mike Jackson, because I know he fought CM Punk and he's kind of has a reputation in Houston. Kind of tell me how that came to pass, that he's built up a reputation there.
Oh man, Mike Jackson, like he's one of the guys I haven't trained and sparred or even been in the same room. Like, he knows all the same people I just listed. He knows all the gyms I know. We know everybody, and I know him. He knows me. We've come across each other. Actually, we met at Green Ranger's Comic-Con. He had a Power Morphicon, and I've seen Mike Jackson. He's like a Houston's media guy at the time. There's a few more big media guys out here right now. But he was like the main one doing all the Fury fights, which is our local promotion here. Shout out to Fury. What's up, Garcia? So he was the one running that stuff and doing all the photography for all the local fighters and all the guys I just listed. So all those guys really look up to Mike Jackson because he kind of like put Houston on the map as far as like media goes. and all that kind of stuff. So he got the opportunity to fight CM Punk. What a great opportunity for an upcoming fighter. I think CM Punk was somebody that no one wanted to see in the UFC. That we didn't want to bring all the fake guys, the wannabes. So I'm glad that someone from Houston got to take him out. But honestly, with my opinion, I think what a lot of people would think too, that we would have put on a little bit of better show. I even asked him one time, we're taking a piss at one of the fights. Like, dude, Mike, like, what the hell? Like, why don't you take him out, dude? Why don't you do it for Houston? Like, man, I feel bad for that guy. Like, I feel bad. Like, what do you mean you feel bad, dude? Like, you're in a fight. The guy signed the contract. It's a death warrant. Like, it's either as a kill or be killed. So I don't know. A lot of people are a little disappointed with that. A lot of people are a little disappointed with his other performances lately. And I just feel that a lot of us guys, we had that shot, we'd be murdering those same guys that he's fighting in the competition. So, but that's just my little take and opinion on it. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think that, like if there was someone that you wanted to compete against, maybe from your area or, in general, who might that be?
Well, I mean, now that we're talking about Mike Jackson, I would think that's a pretty great matchup for me, to be honest. I have no disrespect for the guy at all. Like I said, he does a lot for a bunch of the local fighters and stuff like that. But I think there's a lot of pros and a lot of local fighters out here that I think they could beat him up, just like I think I could beat him up. I could beat him in a fight, I believe. And I'm actually making my return back to the cage and to the UFC, my debut, and I'd like for it to be him. Now that we're talking about it, I think that'd be a great matchup. He's bigger than me. He's longer. He's got good boxing. He's got good striking. I like to bang. I like to strike. I'm a striker. I'm not going to be trying to take him down and play touch butt all day. I know he's not going to try and take me down. So it's going to be a striker's fight. It's going to be a fun fight. It's going to be a fight for the whole city of Houston to watch. He's an Instagram guy, social media dude. We got the biggest following in Houston. And we're like the upcoming gym. We're the upcoming people. And everyone knows the House of Dragons. And everyone knows Mike Jackson. I think that would be actually a really, really good fight, us two. It'd be a lot of fun.
If you had some that you wanted to say to Mike Jackson, since we're kind of talking about this, what would it be?
I'm going to tell you, Mike Jackson, what you try to tell CM Punk. Stop fighting. Get out the league. All right? Get out the league. All right? You need to stop fighting or put on better performances. Like, knock people out if you're so great. If you got such good movement, if you got such boxing, like, take people out. Adrian Yanez, he's an animal. Daniel Pineda, he's an animal. Derek Lewis, an animal. The Great White is an animal. Ricky Tricios, an animal. You're not putting on a show, man. Come on, you're representing Houston wrong, So if you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And if you're not gonna knock people out, I'm gonna knock people out. And if you don't do it soon, I'm gonna come out and take your spot, dude. And that's real. That's what's happening. That's what I'm saying. And I'm gonna make my UFC debut, and I would love to do it with Mike Jackson. Do it for Houston, man. Let's go. Let's dance.
Now, does Mike Jackson? Does he rub people the wrong way in Houston or no?
He's never rubbed me the wrong way. He's never done anything disrespectful to me. He's a nice guy. He's a stand-up guy. He's really cool. And like I said, he does a lot for a lot of Houston fighters, but I think a lot of Houston fighters don't think he should be in the league. All the little whispers in the gym that I hear, they all kind of say the same thing. And it's like, what does this dude still in the league? How is he still in the league? Why is he still there? Why is he getting these opportunities to fight? I thought Dana White said he'd be done after the CM Punk fight because of such a lackluster performance. So this game, life in this game of in the UFC is just like a game of Risk. So those out there who are playing Risk know that people need to be knocked off the board, and I believe I'm the guy to knock Mike Jackson off the UFC board. I want to take his spot in the UFC. So Mike Jackson. I come out here and I challenge you. Now that we're talking about this, it's a good matchup, and I'm feeling froggy. And I challenge you to a martial art match in the UFC. And if I win, then you have to leave UFC and stop fighting forever. And if you beat me, then I'll just go back to coaching and going back to being an Instagram guy. And that'll be the last you guys ever hear of me fighting. But if I beat you, Mike Jackson, you're out the UFC and I take your spot in the UFC and I bring terror to the whole 170 division. That's my challenge to you.
Now, you think he would accept those terms?
Well, I think that all of Houston wants to see it. And I think that all of Houston would love to see this exact thing go down. I'm the biggest platform and media in Houston. Not only that, I have a magazine company called Gano Magazine. We're the #1 Latino Texas publication in Texas. We cover the Houston Rockets. We cover the Dynamos, the Astros, and the Texans. And now we're doing combat sports coverage as well. We're doing a lot of coverage in that and doing a lot of interviewing upcoming fighters. So everything Mike Jackson can do, I can do, but way better. I can fight better. I can promote better. I have bigger publication to promote other UFC fighters that are local and international. I've dealt and managed and promoted international fighters already. I built a whole gym and business, and now all there left is to do is to reign terror on the 170 division in the UFC, and that's what I hear. That's what I'm coming to do in 2023. So all y'all get ready, and all of y'all can get it.
Now, what's the name of the publication again?
Gay Onda Magazine. We bought it. My family bought it and took over. Gay Onda Magazine built this up 25 years ago. And my uncles and my father and my grandparents, they have done promotions like Mike Tyson versus Holyfield. They've done a lot of promotions with De La Hoya. They put out a lot of concerts with Shakira, Ricky Martin. It's all Latino community and stuff like that. So, sorry for a little cutout right there. But yeah, we put on concerts for big name international artists from all over the world. And we put on fights and shows as well. And naturally, I've grown up to become the same type of person. The businessman like I am is because of my father and my family and my uncles and my grandma and my grandfather who started the business. And I just learned from being an entrepreneur and being able to market fights, being able to market things. And that's how the House of Dragons is where we are in such a little time, because of our marketing power and because of the way we do things and the way we take risks. Like right now, calling out UFC fighters on my pro debut. So this is what we're doing. And we do crazy things and we only do big things. And that's what we do at the House of Dragons.
Now, is that publication, is it primarily Spanish or both?
No, Spanish, both in English and Spanish. It's entertainment and political. So we do a lot of political campaigns as well for like the mayor. We helped him get into office with the Spanish community, the judges, the mayors, all the politicians and people who work within the Houston community. We're deep and involved with the Hispanics and the Latinos, and that's our field. In sports and entertainment, so it's bilingual. Everyone can.
Now, do you do stuff with people in the in Mexico also, or no?
Oh yeah. Actually, I was about to try and get some boxers over here, some Mexican boxers. My phone's about to. Let me try and find you. I'm sorry, I'm like kind of 10%. It told me, but yeah, I'm trying to do. I'm trying to put some fights on. I've been trying to put some fights on with Mexican fighters, bringing them over here from Mexico, giving them some opportunities to show their hands, get a little bit paid. I've been trying to get some people to go to Mexico for training camps for pure boxing, because what I like about Mexican boxers and Mexican boxing, they have the same type of mindset that the Thai. They're just warriors. They move forward. They're not about all the dancing around and slipping and not slipping. They're like really good shows, and there's a lot of great talent in Mexico. And that's what I'm trying to promote as well. I'm trying to get people to go to Mexico, Mexicans to come over here to the States, and their MMA and Muay Thai program or scene over there is growing really, really, really fast. So that's pretty cool.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Power Rangers thing. The guy passing today. Maybe you could, as being a Houstonian, maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Oh man, it's so sad. Like, obviously I'm a huge fan of the Power Rangers. I'm a huge fan of Jason David Frank, and I grew up watching that stuff, and I became friends with him. He's he's the one guy that I literally hunted down. And once I was able to meet him, everything else kind of like fell into place for my life, because I just hey, this is the hardest guy that I thought I could have met. And I met him in the fashion that I chose to. And I went from fan to friend. And that's pretty cool. And it was just devastating last night. My phone has been blowing up all day long. We're supposed to do this show a little earlier today, but I had, to deal with so many, phone calls and text messages, and everyone's asking, is this true? I even texted him last night, hey, please don't tell me this is true. This is the article. Please tell me it's one of the celebrity hoax. And I never got a response back. So it's been a pretty tough day, and he changed so many people's lives, and he inspired so many young martial artists. Max Holloway even said he got into martial arts in the UFC because of the Green Ranger, and shout out to Green Ranger because you put me on this path. He's well connected and friends with all the UFC fighters down here. He trained at Metroplex sometimes. He trained at like some of the top gyms. Just to come in. He's a real martial artist. That was the cool thing about him. He's like a real martial artist, and he stepped away from the acting and pursued his martial art fight career as well. And he went 3-0 as an amateur, and he had his one pro fight debut, and he knocked it off his martial art resume. And that's pretty cool. Like a lot of martial artists aren't fighters, and a lot of fighters aren't martial artists, but he was both, and he was an actual real superhero because he was Tommy in real life. He was Tommy, the Green Ranger in real life. He trained every day. He inspired so many kids. He taught karate. He has three gyms here in Houston. I think one or two in California, something like that. I got to see him in Scotland when he was at Comic Con over there. We were hanging out when I was there, and we had some really cool memories together. And it's just been, and it's I don't know. He's always been the guy to push me to the next level about like where I'm going. And I'm also on this mental health. If people can go and see my posts on the Instagram, House of Dragons, and they see that I'm always promoting mental health and through martial arts. And we just did like a little festival with the local schools. We do that with all the kids all the time, like free karate classes, and we go do like performances and show them demonstrations of martial arts, and we promote that it's good for kids' mental health and it's good for their character building, and that's what he was doing. He was all about that kind of stuff, and unfortunately, like he just passed away last night. It's just been so sad, like. Yeah, it's just so sad for everyone who's been a fan, and especially all that's in Houston. That's all you see right now on my Instagram feed is just everyone posting about the Green Ranger. Ike, Hurricane Ike, he's another one I forgot to mention earlier. He just posted about the Green Ranger, like miss you, bro, rest in peace. Man, he was an OG here in Houston, and he was an inspiration for so many, and we're all so sad about it.
Yeah, maybe talk a little bit more about the mental health. I know that's important to you.
Yeah, man. Um, Martial arts has helped me so much with mental health in so many different ways. And I'm a father now. My daughter, my first child, she just turned 1 year old, and we have a boy on the way. We're pregnant again, back to back kids, so it's double trouble. And there's like a lot of stresses and anxiety and like worries that just come along with like your kid eating and your kid running around and your wife having to tend the kids and I'm out here working, and then you have like let's just say you don't have kids and you're on this martial art career, and you're just like trying so hard to like get to that to get to the big show, get to the level, and you have to do the weight cuts, and you're broke because you have to train so much, you don't have that good job, and you're sacrificing the job for the career, and like that weighs on you. These decisions in life, choices in life, like consequences of life, whether they be good or bad, and if you don't have people to talk to, if you don't have an outlet like martial arts, basketball, painting, writing, music, if you don't have an outlet, you could flip. You could just like implode, and everything will come. Like you lose yourself through the insanity of like not keeping your mind organized. And I just believe that people who try martial arts, they have a structured way of doing something, which is why it's so bizarre. Like he was so about mental health awareness. Like he inspired me to push mental health awareness, and like for mental health reasons, he like committed suicide. That's crazy. As far as that's what the news is saying now. I don't know any more real details, and I'm not trying to blow up the family and dig for information. Everything will come to light, and I just want to give them time to grieve and to be with themselves and whatnot. He had a kid as well. I think committed suicide last year, and that could do a whole lot of things to you, like having a hard loss of a family member like that, especially your kid. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I lost my kid, anyone, but any one of my family members, but especially my kids. And his kid committed suicide, and he went through a nasty divorce supposedly. And that all builds up on you, man. But like, let me tell you guys, no matter what it is, divorce, a loss of a family member, a close friend, or anything. Like you lost all your business, you gambled everything and lost it all. That's happened to me many of times. Many of times I've lost everything that I tried for. Like I went for things and publicly failed. It's been embarrassing. Like I've done things I'm not proud of. There's been a lot of moments that could have, like, killed me and broke me down the same way. But it just, you gotta have that belief that there is a way out. Just like when you're getting tapped, when you're getting choked, when you're you gotta stay calm when they're choking you, so you can find that position, so you can fight for the neck down. Whenever life is choking you, just gotta stay calm, relax. It's gonna pass, just like a storm, just like any kind of tsunami. It's here, it's destructive, it messes everything up, but then it goes back into the ocean, and it's time to rebuild. And that's what we have to constantly like accept in life, is that life is suffering. And if you don't learn how to accept suffrage, then you will just break down, because we're not here, we're not meant to live an easy life. We're meant to live a suffering life, and learn how to make that easier. So it's a little different. This is my philosophy with all the pain that I've been through in life. And that's why I'm able to talk about it too, because everyone goes through the same type of thing in a different way. And I've just been saved by my relationship with my Lord Jesus Christ, and He just blessed me with so many different opportunities and people in my life who could care about me, who care about where I'm going in life and what I'm doing in life, and care about my my being. I've had like a great support system, so that's amazing. And I hope for you guys out there listening that if you guys don't have a support system, come check us out. Just hit up the House of Dragons. Give us a DM. We're gonna answer you. We'll talk you through something. If you're in the area, come train. Get involved in martial arts. If you're not in a Houston area, go find a local martial arts school. Get involved with the community. Get involved with people, because so many people come over here and to the martial art for community. They come to the martial arts studio to find to fit in somewhere. That's what they want to do. Essentially, like, martial arts dojos are like big gangs. And why are gangs popular? Because it's a place to fit in. Well, everyone's got problems in the martial arts studio. Everyone's got some kind of thing that they're dealing with, so you're not alone. And that's like the first step about being in martial arts and like helping with mental health, is that you're not alone. And even if you're not in martial arts school, looking out there, listening to this podcast, you're not alone. I'm telling you right now, you're just a phone call away from me, from the House of Dragons, from one of our teammates. If you're on the ledge right now, like, there's another way. So no matter what happens, someone loves you, and it's me. Okay, it's the House of Dragons, and wherever you're at, who's ever listening, like, someone loves you, and it's us, and we're here for you. So whatever you guys need, if you're going through something, don't make that last decision. That's something you cannot return back from. You cannot come back from killing yourself. You can come back from a financial crisis. You can come back from a social incident. Look at Will Smith. What kind of thing he did with Chris Rock. Like, it's not over for him. It's not over for anybody. Like, it's only over when it's over, and that's what fighting is all about. It's about moving forward. It's about taking the pain and being able to push forward, and that's what life is about. That's why life and fighting go hand in hand, because life is a fight, and that's what you're gonna be. You wake up every single day. You're waking up to a fight of life. Whether it be the boss, whether it be the rent, whether it be the shoes for the baby, whether it be the milk for the baby, whether it be putting the table on it could be your kid's tuition for college. It could be that your kid needs a car. It could be you need a car. Whatever it is, man, like, it's not worth it. Your life, you will make it through. You will make it through. And like, I just really hope that people see the Green Ranger, see his story, see all like, we've just been losing so many people for what, like, life's going to give you so many problems. Life's going to give you so many dangers. Driving every day is a danger. Eating bad food is a danger. But then for you to take your life when there's another way out, maybe it sucks right now, but something's going to turn around. And especially for someone like Jason, man, like, that's crazy. Like, he had the biggest platform. I've been to so many Comic Cons with so many big names. I mean, Daenerys Targaryen, Stan Lee, people from the Sons of Anarchy, all in the same Comic Cons, and he kills the line. He beats everybody in the line. People love and look up to this guy when, like, he was around, and that's what inspired me to tell all you guys the same thing. It's not over, and you just call somebody, man. Talk to somebody. Find help, and there's no weakness in finding help. Where the strength comes through recognizing your real problem, facing that problem. So that's where strength comes from. Acknowledging that you got something to deal with. You got something that you are dealing with. You don't know how to deal with it. Be strong and say, "Hey, help me out. I don't know how to deal with this." You know how many times I've cried out for help? Hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Hey, I'm losing my mind. I'm going crazy. I'm doing everything that I can to make this work, and this is not working. What do I need to do to change myself? What can I do to change this scenario? It's never over. Whatever the storm is, it's never over. So, come on, man. You know.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing to close on, and like being a veteran, that obviously that's something big in our community too. So I think it's a great message to close the interview on,
Yeah.
and for anybody, like he's saying, anyone who has struggles, you just have to, find support for somebody or something, and it's always out there, whether it's your family or another like group of people in your city, town, or whatever. That those people are out there.
Yeah, man. So, hey, we're all here for you guys. House of Dragons. That's what I'm on this podcast for. It's just to spread martial arts as a structured way of living, healthy way of living, and to promote mental health awareness because everyone's got something that they're dealing with, and it's not over for anybody. Just hit us up anytime you guys need.
All right, man. Well, Will, it was great talking to you, and love to bring you back on sometime. Maybe if we have some talk with Mike Jackson or something.
Oh yeah, hey, let him know, man. I think that he's still in. I think he's still in the league right now, and I'm about to get there. So let's make that fight happen. Let's do it for the Houston people. Let's do it for our city. Let's do it. Let's put a show on. The two biggest Instagram guys, the two biggest publications against each other. I think it'd be an exciting fight.
Yeah, I think it's got some good storylines there.
There we go, man. Let him know I said what's up. Huh? Let Mike Jackson know.
All right, man. It was great talking with you, and like I said, if you ever want to come back on, let's do it.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and thank you for inviting me on the show. And we'll be talking soon, man. Y'all be safe. Follow us at House of Dragons International on Instagram. My name is Sensei Will Esparza. You will be seeing me in the ring soon. So let Mike Jackson know what's up. Bye, guys.
Take care.